Welcome back, everyone. Drake Hawkins with you again for another episode of our Death World Extreme. Got a few things I want to tend to today. Had a bit of comments from a few people. MWCH asked about science lab spacing. Our fancy science lab facility over... Let's look at it on the map. Oh, autosave. Where is it? Over here. And he was asking if it reduces the space for the same amount of labs, and I believe it does. If I get a chance, I'll look up something to, or space out something to show you. But basically, each of these lines carries enough material that it can access. You could put 5 in each direction if you really wanted to, 10 or whatever it needed. So they basically, this allows you to feed 6 lines. 8 lines? 8 lines, yes. Feed 8 lines of 8 different science packs into here, and there's only 7 in total, so that's the max of everything. Otherwise, I would need to belt lines to all of them. I could do this, like, I don't know, separately somehow, and have them feed both ways, maybe? Like, put 4 on this side and 4 on this side, have them feed through each other as they needed. Maybe that would work. More inserters, but less undergrounds, but... that's one thing. And had some comments, I believe it was General Bismarck, that pointed out some stuff about the uranium, and I'm going to tend to that. Come here. Hey, come here. Oh yeah, gotcha. To tend to that, there are 2 types of uranium, 238 and 235. 238 is the bland stuff. The bulk of what you use is 238, actually. And 235 is the more fancy-dancy stuff. So I'm going to have try to set up something different here that will allow us to feed this stuff a little differently. I'm going to actually go ahead and make a few very, very hyper basic circuit networks. I am glowing. The whole world is glowing right now because I'm standing in this uranium pile. So this thing right now, if I put this dude in here, the handle will take it and it'll throw it down the line. I don't want it to do that. What I want it to do is I want it to... where are these? Yes, cables. Okay, so if I connect a circuit to this, right, I think that will allow me to read the contents. Enable condition when uranium-235 is greater than, let's say 50. This is different than doing the stack. I could set it to stack and blah 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 and say only 1 there, whatever. Mode of operation, read content, connection network, good. And no, that's not what I wanted to do. Why'd that bring that up? I could have it set, like, you know, with the bar. I could do that and say only 1 stack. These things stack in hundreds, and I really only want to hold 50 of them. So I will say when contents are greater than, when this is greater than 50, then you can enable disable. So stack hand, override stack content size to 1. That way they will only move 1 at a time, no matter what the stack bonus inserter is. And that should do. So if now I place this guy in here, it will not go. Yes, that is right. If, however, that was set to, let's say wood. Where's the wood? Where's the wood? Where's the wood? Did I just pass it? I did. And I said greater than 50. If there was wood in that line, it would then pick it up. Okay? Let's grab that out of there before it starts making a mess of my uranium line. You can't put wood into the furnace and make it to work. So this is, now if I put uranium in here, of course that won't work. It won't activate because the conditions are asking about wood, and there's never going to be that much wood in there if I have it set like that. So uranium greater than 50, you can take some out. So until we stock up 50 in that, we won't use it on the line. Now, Having said that, oops, hit Alt again. Having said that, these guys are stocked up quite a few uranium fuel cells in here. And I don't think they can produce any more. These ones need some, and they have none stocked. I don't know if they can stock more than that. I think they can't do another run yet. But we have a lot of the 238. In fact, it's really starting to stockpile in here, isn't it? Yeah, it's stockpiling pretty aggressively in here. We have, how much do we have? 5,000 of it. So that's plenty for now. We will need 50 on hand of the 235, the better stuff, to activate our Cormac's, whatever it's called, the one of the creators or code designers or whatever of the game. Finally, somebody convinced him to name something after himself. So the nuclear reactor system is actually named after him. You basically use it, from what I understand. Now, you understand I haven't used it before, so but I think from what I understand that it basically takes the 238 and one 235, and it converts them, runs them through a process together. It spits out a few less 238s and more 235, like one more or something like that. So it's super slow, but once you get it going, it can be a large producer of enough fuel to run these guys for a long, long time. So we do, oops, we got a 238 in there, which is, of course, unnecessary. Let's throw them down there. What we want to do, another thing what I've just done here while I was blabbling, is, that's a word, is added these pipes to connect the steam. So the steam now, all of these connect, they don't just run to the end and stop. The steam connects to this pipe, then comes down under this nice convenient underground so I can get by, and connects to these storage containers. Now the temperature here says 500 degrees C. That is because the temperature in these things hits 500, and in here, what's the temperature at? 886. Once they run through here, their max temperature is 500, but it stays at 500 forever. If I cut these off right now, if I just remove that, these would stay at the exact amount. Yes, they're just distributing. That's why the numbers are changing. They would even out between them and just stay there forever at that temperature, no matter what. So unless you remove one, that steam is there forever. So now we got a bunch of steam piled up here. So what we want to do, these guys use fuel constantly. Even if they're not actually driving anything or there's no draw on the steam, they are using up fuel constantly. So I'm going to take this fuel out and, oh, it's just going to reload it. Okay, well, there's another solution we could do for that. What we're going to do is set up a ridiculous, I'll try to remember to put the link in below, but a ridiculously cheap, not cheap, but not like cheaty cheap, but simple, very, very simple system that allows you to take account on how much steam is in here, because this steam will backpedal down the line if this stuff stops getting its feed from this end. These heat pipes will keep their heat, they're 800 and some degrees. Takes forever for them to lower their heat at all, and at the worst they can do is drop down to 500. And then once this thing kicks on, because its temperature is right now 999 degrees Celsius, if it ever dropped down to 500, it would stay there. It would never drop below 500. So the moment it turned back on, it would instantly start producing enough heat for these things to reactivate. Right now, they're not doing much at all because there's so much steam in the lines. So if these things shut off, because I wasn't pumping more heat out, the steam would get used up in these. So this is kind of a heat buffer, an energy buffer. So we're going to take our red circuits and we're going to connect all of these. I got to be close enough. Connect all of these fine things to this power circuit. I've never used circuit networks on my videos yet, so I'm going to do them now. Now, if you hit Q when you've got a circuit cable connected, it will deactivate it. So we're going to do that, and then I want to connect the output items to those same poles, okay? And I want to connect this output one to the pole as well. Right, so now, if I mouse over any of these things, I can see, any of these power poles, I can see the signals which is what these cables connected to this is doing. It's reading the contents and saying what's in this network. So I hand over the mouse over any of this red cable network. If I connected another red cable over here, unless it connects to this set of red cables, it's not going to be on the same network. But this network holds 100,000, essentially, 24,999 or whatever steam. So this network here has that, and now I can tell this device here that it's going to be enabled, and it's going to read the hand content. And I'm going to tell it hand read mode is hold. Signal sent continuously on, as long as the inserter is holding the item, or signal sent for only one tick when the item is picked up. So I want it to actually hold in this case. So it'll continually send this signal. Well, what signal do we want it to enable? The signal that it'll be enabled when steam is, do I need less than or greater? I need less than, because when steam drops below a total of 20,000 units, you can set this at whatever works for you, but I'm going to set it to 20,000 just as a starter. We may have to come back and tweak with it later, but so this says to enable when steam is less than 20,000. It also says to read the hand contents of the inserter, whatever the inserter picks up. When it enables, it'll pick something up. Whatever it picks up, it will send a steady signal as long as it has that item in its hand. No problem. So then the other thing we need to do is to go ahead and grab the green wire. So it has to be separate. The green or red can be switched, but it can't be connected. So if I put red here, it would be the same network. I'm going to put these, actually I don't think that would matter in this case, but they will function as separate networks. All I'm connecting is the input circuit, or the input inserter with the output inserter. So on these, actually this one is set, right? Yes. And if I left shift and copy, I can paste to that one. Okay, just like you would with the instructions for an assembler, you can do that with the instructions for any inserter as well. Any circuit condition as far as I understand. Now this one is set and these ones are not. Right? Yes, good. So we've got these two outputs set and we got to set the input. So what it's going to do is we're going to override the stack size. So we input one unit only because we don't want to input a bunch of them. We'll say enable when, and the when is when this used up uranium cells is greater than 0. Alright, now what that's going to say, and we're going to shift right click and copy, so we make sure both of these have that condition. Override stack size 1, enable when used up uranium cells is greater than 0. So that's the same there, good. So this is the connected item, and it says read hand contents and hold sending of constant pulse. So when this item is picked up, see how they didn't automatically refill? Because they now have a condition saying you can't pick up unless you're receiving the signal used uranium fuel cells is greater than 0, which it's not. Right now it's 0. There's no signal showing here. This one should be showing a signal. This one's showing a signal of steam. Okay, and this is saying when that network that you're connected to from the red cable is less than 20K, which it's not right now, it's 99,000, then you can activate the system. Right now these guys are burning away, doing their thing, and they have spent cells in them, which we can remove. So now, only the ones that are burning down are active. Good. They'll burn down, continuing for the process to heat the steam, or run the heat pipes, heat these things up, boil the water, and so on, like they've been doing the whole time. When this runs out, this will stop consuming the fuel until it gets the signal to remove an empty spent casing, and then this one will send the signal, hey, this guy's got a spent casing in his hand, so I need to add a new one in. As long as this line stays full, this is a completely clean, perfect system. Once this line is empty, and this guy can't pick up when this guy empties one, it's broken. You have to come back and recharge it, which I'm okay with for the time being. Well, because that's good. Alright, now let's dump these guys on this line here. We might as well fill them up. Good. And these guys spent casings can go back in here. Good. That was one thing I wanted to do. So we have this backup storage for the fine quality uranium. Oh, we have 4 of them in there already. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So if we come by here and we happen to see that this fuel line is getting low, we might need to look to address it. And it will only activate to use up some of this when we need it for the power. Yay! So super huge thanks to General Bismarck and to, let me check who it was. It was Jake B1024 who put the video up for this particular setup. I got the link through another video that General sent. I think it is back in episode 86, just a couple steps back. So that was a big help for me. Thank you so much for that input. And as to the science thing, I think we reasonably answered that. The science is definitely more efficient space-wise because you don't have as much belts to run all over the place to everything, and it keeps less stuff backed up, bottlenecked up in your storage, so that it's less likely that there's going to be, 50 labs that need access to something that's just halfway down the line and they can't get to. Okay, so we were building at the end of last episode. Thank you so much for joining me for that part, and then let's go back into the fun. We're going to go connect up a bunch more, more solar panels, and let's see what we can do for total storage now. Total storage now. Battery capacity is 60 megajoules. Energy consumption 2 megawatts. How frequently is that? I don't know. So I think this might help. We may have too much input, too much, solar panels and not enough storage. But we'll see to that in a moment. There's something else that I commented. It was commented about the constant biter fighting. It was a message sent earlier. Oh, who was it? I think it was MWCH as well. Commented about it's great to fight all these biters. It's a little gamey when you can just spam down things and they're all dead instantly. That sort of stuff. I think it might be time for us to consider getting a tank to do it a little more fun. We could drive through those guys in a heartbeat if we had tanks. So there's 2 things I want to look at possibly getting tech-wise as soon as we can. One is uranium ammunition. Okay, so that uses 238 ammo and uranium shells, really? 238 ammo and regular piercing rounds. That's super easy. Woohoo! Let's do that. So that tech requires what? It requires high-tech science packs. Okay, so we won't be doing that, and it's 4,000. Ouch. Okay, so we will not be doing that anytime soon. Let's try again. Good job, Drake. How about we go back to thinking about tanks? 300 military science, 300 of each. Blue, red, green, and military. Sure, we've got lots of that, right? Yeah, we got plenty of each of those. Military, blue, red, and green. No, there's no blue backlogged here. Why is that? There's legitimately no blue on the line. Or is it hanging out partially down the line somewhere? And we're just not using it. No, it's getting used up immediately. Okay, so, yeah, it's being used up on the character slot thing. We need, for that, we are short red circuits. For red circuits, we are short the plastics. For plastics, we are short petroleum gas. And for petroleum gas, we are pretty much just out. Heavy oil, we're out of here. We're just getting a tiny little trickle at 2 per second times 7. So we got basically none in there. One refinery is operating at least part of the time. Light oil is, we get 2k heavy oil in each of these. That's just about nothing. That's not 20k. And these guys are just sitting there not producing anything either. So looks like we are just simply too low on resources to keep any sort of pace on that. So we're going to have to go with getting more petroleum. To do that, we need to, again, come back to the same problem. We need to get to the oil. So I wonder if we don't just change this up right now. It's 600. Logistics slots are not nearly as important as saying blowing stuff up might be. You know, I'll let that finish and then we'll do the research. So let's go back to the blowing things up part. How's our power? Look at that. The power's actually filling up for a change. Partially because we have less storage of it, but partially because we actually have more solar panels. I love it. Okay, I can put the solar panels back, and then we can get back to it. So what else did we need? I think we wanted to get a little more lasers. We got 146 of them. That sounds like a little bit more. What else? We got lasers up here if we have them stored. Do we actually have any stored? No, those are flamethrower turrets. Okay, so we did steal those all last time. What are you waiting on? You're waiting on batteries. Well, you can probably have batteries, right? Yeah, I think you can have batteries. How about right there? And then you can do a double stack. You'll fill up. Good, that's better. So he'll pull them out of the storage here, out of the passive provider chest, and use them up. And then that'll dump them on this line, and that line will sit there and fill this till it's got 200 or 100, I think, and then it'll back up. No problems. And what else? Solar panels. I don't think we need all those. I can put those back down here. We're not going to use them. In fact, I'm going to put these type of fancy solar panels in here. Probably you in there as well. Night vision's not that important for me when I'm building. What do we got? Do we got enough power? How about walls? We don't have a lot of walls. Let's up our number on wall. No, let's not. Let's just go pick some up. Because upping that number is going to be atrocious. All those little bots that have to go to work. Let's not overwork the precious little things, shall we? Let's grab all the walls there. Sound good? Up, that. Good. Anything else I need to dump off before I go any further? Yes, trees. Don't need the logs, please. Throw the stone. Oh, stone should be over in the other one, I guess, huh? Throw the stone over here. Copper, stone, coal, copper. Good. Clean that out. Oh, we got plastics in. Oh, we got a lot of plastics in here. Hello. Well, that's a temporary, solution, but we can throw a lot of plastics. Who are you and what are you doing? We can throw a lot of plastics on that line. That would be fantabulous. And then we are going to, next episode, go blow some more stuff up, I guess. Because we're running out of time soon. You know what? Fine. You can go that way. Fine. Be picky about it. So we managed to fix up our power to be a little or a lot more efficient. We now have 5 of the uranium-235 stored. We are seconds or minutes, at least seconds probably with the stuff I just dumped in there, away from activating the character logistics 3, and then we're going to go into making tanks. So for future reference we can use them. I want to go, since we're down here, maybe we should start hacking away at some of these guys. Where is the first touch of coal oil is over there. I think we might come down here and just build out to get that oil and all these iron. Pardon me, probably better than trying to, well, I don't know. If we cut down here straight to the oil, that's probably about par for the course. But we got some killing to do. We'll do that in the beginning of next episode, though. Thank you so much for joining me, and yay, we got full power. So our power's not doing anything right now, which is fantastic. We're not using any power because we don't have the night vision running, which was a total waste. Yeah, I like that. Oh, no, that doesn't change my power, does it? No, it doesn't. I need these things to be filled. If I wanted to, I could micromanage it. So I could, like, during the day, I could let these fill right up until I'm full. And then, if I'm full early, I could throw in another one, that sort of thing. But not really worth it. Well, thank you so much for joining me. It won't be a super long episode this time. Why do I have weird things on that path there? What the heck? Why do we have gears and what is that? Robots and all sorts of things on the power line. Well, that's confusing. I'm sure those were not supposed to be there. 99.9% sure. Speaking of which, we now have just a few robots. We only have 10 robots. That's not going to last us worth a squat. Let's go pick up some more robots, and then we'll put in a cut in the episode because... Oh, hello, construction robots. Because we definitely need probably 25 or 30 construction robots on hand in order to handle the death count that we get when we, we get a little too aggressive with the robots, with the fightingness, with the pew pew and the blowing things up. How is our uranium, by the way? It is actually thinning out quite unpleasantly. Yep, it is. We do still have a backlog of it, so that's something. Those guys will keep running for quite a while. Robots. Where are the robots? There they are. Look at all the robots. That's fantastic. So this should actually stock up. Oh, high on robots. All right, well, we got the science. We're going to go ahead and start the tank production. Ooh, it's personal laser defense. Maybe that's even better. We don't have the resources or the fuel supply to take care of that. So we're going to go with a tank. Old-fashioned boom boom, and next episode we will be using that. But thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has been a both informative and useful episode. Let me know if you have any other comments, and I can try to incorporate some of the fun. And I guess that's it. Throw it in the comments below if you have any suggestions or ideas, and as always, I'll see you in game.